What's going on? It's Justeeni here, and today we're going to be showing another replay, and this one's going to be an IMO versus Aquarion. It's me versus Toby. I'll link the stream that this happened in the description. This was during one of Toby's streams. I'll also link Toby's channel in the description if you haven't already checked him out. He's a really cool guy. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get right into this replay review. So, first off, starting just classic double warrior, find my village, find no village there at all, and I get philosophy precap, and I already see his terrain, so I know he's somewhere over here, most likely, in either the western corner, maybe the northern corner, but I suspect the western, because that terrain's just right there. And I'm just going Philo just because I like getting philosophy. Like, if you're playing IMO, it's like, the only reason you do it is to get philosophy, right? Like, it's probably not optimal here. I think hunting is better. Just getting that and then getting philosophy sometime later. But like, philosophy, right? This is also a live game, by the way. There will be a lot of mistakes on both ends. Just letting you know in advance. So yeah, that happens. And I see him capture village right away, so I kind of walk away from all that shenanigans. And then train another warrior. This warrior is there. I don't know why I didn't just train it up here. This was definitely the first of many mistakes. Kind of weird warrior. I did have like a plan, but the plan would have been better with the warrior here as well. So this warrior is just not good. So get altar of peace. And then I get climbing. And the reason why I get climbing is because I want to meet Toby early. Because right now he is above 1,000 points. If I meet him, I can use those meeting stars to get some more techs. And I was planning on getting climbing anyway at some point to take advantage of these mines. I expected to get a decent amount, especially in this area. I was hoping for more here, but you know what? I only really need one of these areas to have good mines, and I got one of them. So, yeah, it was a mistake to get climbing this soon. Would have been better to just go like hunting or something and then get climbing later. I mean, it did help me find a village, but I didn't meet the opponent on turn 6, which I was really hoping for. You see, they're here now, though, but I don't get my meeting stars here, which would have been amazing, because if I had them, I'd have enough stars to get hunting, level up my capital, then level up this city, and I'd be sitting pretty well despite the early climbing, and just in a great spot overall. But instead, everything kind of gets delayed a turn, but it kind of works out anyway. I'm able to level this up. Then I get forestry pre-capture just because, like, looking at all my cities, they all can use forests. I was also considering mining pre-capture, but I can just also get mining later because it only costs like, what, 7 stars? Yeah, 7 stars. Very cheap. You can see Toby expanding, taking advantage of the early water movement by getting this village over here, which looks like it doesn't have any lands near it. And yeah, I get mining pre-cap. Again, I don't have a lot of economy, but tech-wise, I'm already pretty set. It's a very greedy way of playing. I'm not training a whole lot of units, getting a lot of techs, and then kind of setting up my economy then. But we'll see how it pans out. I chop to speed things up a little bit to make things a little less greedy. I go for the Explorer just because I need the vision, and it's also pretty good with climbing. I barely missed the lighthouse, but oh well. Exploring along. And you see Toby here is trying to get this lighthouse. I don't really want that to happen. I get my giant as well, which gets me Park of Fortune. And then, yeah, I can use a mine to level up, and my eco's starting to go. And yeah, you can see he really wanted that lighthouse, but I'm not letting him have it. I'm able to level up this city, get an explorer to see what's going on, and I see a toad right there already with bubbles, which means he's ready to play things pretty aggressive. And now you can see I find this lighthouse, which makes not finding this lighthouse a little bit sad, because if I did find it, it would be pretty easy to get Eye of God. But you know what? Not everything pans out the way you want it to. It's just how it is sometimes. But yeah, he's trying to go in. I get a really nice population monument. I go for Smithery. I'm going to use it to level up this city for free, basically, because I get their full refund. And then I go for 2 mind benders. And the main reason is because I'm kind of aware of how toads interact with giants here. It's kind of interesting because the giant actually struggles to approach, and the toad also struggles to approach. They don't really like to approach each other. The thing is with the giant approaching the toad is the toad is going to hit the giant and then just run back. And then if the toad approaches, the giant's going to get a really big swing, 5 attack, and it's going to deal so much damage to the toad. And I decided to use Mindbenders because then when the toad hits, I can just heal the giant with a Mindbender, which will be extremely useful. And I mean, Aquarion kind of struggles a little bit against Mindbenders. Like, Mindbenders can definitely do some things. I know I had another video, which maybe I'll link in the description, where I also used Mindbenders in a live game against Aquarion where we were both misplaying a ton. But, I mean, they're pretty silly units. And I get one here on my capital because I just want to keep this village safe. If I get the Mindbender on this tile right here, then whenever they siege, I can just Mindbend whatever they have. And it's really hard for them to reach the Mindbender here. Because, like, none of this is flooded. They just don't have a way of reaching the warrior. So it's very strong defense for only 5 stars, basically ensuring protection from everything, except for like ranged units if they get those. But Aquarion's not really all that well known for getting ranged units also easily. They're all very inaccessible. You have to go out of your way to get them. And yeah, I'm able to get a nice giant push here. Pretty nifty. And yeah, I'm going for this lighthouse as well, because I can. He's expanding around. See, he's already at 5 cities, so we're even in cities right now. And I'm advancing up like this Mindbender right behind the giant. It's going to be very annoying for the opponent. I get organization, so then I can get myself another giant. And I can start to pressure him a good amount, because he's having a hard time actually advancing. And yeah, he's leveling up. I see that he's mining, so he's going to have no problem getting a toad here. And right here, you can see the power of the Mindbender. Is we've kind of got the standoff. He got defense bonus, so then my 5 attack would kind of clash a bit more evenly into his 4 defense. It makes him actually able to approach. Because I believe these both deal 10 damage to each other. Yes, 10 damage to each other. But this is where the Mindbender comes in handy, because now I heal off of it. And I actually come out positive. It's as if I only took 6 retaliation instead. So it helps me a lot there. I'm also just continuing to develop my eco. I go for archery because it's going to be very good for pressuring. There's plenty of force that I can use for the defense bonus, like over here, in my own territory, over here, over here. And it's, again, just really nice for playing aggressively here. And notably playing aggressive, like, without having to go, like, riding roads. It's actually a pretty cheap way to do it. And I thought it would be fun, which is also a good reason to do things sometimes. And then, yeah, I advance, hit with the archer, and then I make a little mistake here. I should have healed and then hit, because if the giant has more HP, it's going to take less retaliation and deal some more damage. So this was a little itty-bitty mistake here. I healed afterwards, but yeah, it likely would have been a little bit of a better interaction. I go ahead and level this up. I get another giant going. Things are looking pretty good for me eco-wise. I've got a lot of giants on the map, which is really nice. And all these archers, it's just a lot of pressure for the opponent to deal with. And so they are able to take out this giant, although it is pretty costly. Their toad is down for the count, but not out. So I do need a way of getting rid of that at some point, which my archers hopefully can threaten to pick off the toad to force it to run. And I also go for cloaks here. And the reason why I go for cloaks is because, again, like, I was kind of thinking, well, I could go rider roads, which, to be honest, is actually just straight up good. Roads are really good with the archers and all that. But, like, come on. Cloak for the content, right? Again, Toby was playing this on stream. I was not watching the stream, by the way. That'd be cheating and not cool. But I get the cloak because funny, it's good for the content, you know, it's cool. And also because the cloak, like, kind of works. I still think it's, like, not the optimal play. Like, riding roads is better because it's going to help with eco. I can go into trade, chivalry, all that. But, like, I have climbing and archery, so I can get some nice defense bonuses with the daggers, which is pretty tough to deal with, especially with, like, riders and stuff. With units that only have 2 attack, it takes 3 hits to kill those daggers, so it's going to be pretty annoying for them, even though it's like it's not the best play, like, oh, best move ever. Like, if this were a really competitive game, I wouldn't be getting cloaks here. Just get rider roads. But I want to cloak for the content, and it was kind of at this point, like, you probably saw in the title, I probably said something like winning without riders or the entire riding branch, because it was kind of like at some point I'm like, maybe I could just do that. Like, there are a lot of, like, resources other than, like, this riding branch that you can use to win, and you'll see me kind of use all of them in this game. And yeah, it's pretty interesting though. But yeah, the cloak is funny. It's gonna reach the city. It's a pretty high level city as well. That's another reason why the cloak is pretty nice here. But yeah, he's kind of doing his thing, trying to explore, and he's picking away at things. He kills this, giving me the temptation to mind bend it, which it is very tempting, but no, I just kill it. It would have been funny, but, like, it is just better to use the mind bender for healing. And I get another cloak, and I move my cloak here mostly because, first off, it's a live game. Second off, there's not really a good spot to move it. I mean, actually, no. I think this spot right here on this animal might have been better, because, like, how does he reach it? Like, he'd have to, like, chip this giant way down to get a unit to, like, a amphibian to hit it, not die from retaliation, and then reveal it. But I was kind of worried, like, if he had, like, a lot more units in the back and he does that, then he kills my cloak. With this, at least, he can reveal it, which he does no problem. I was thinking, like, this is a little riskier. It is just better. Like, he just doesn't have the units. Like, if I were using, like, a poly calculator to really see, like, how many units would he needs too many. There's just no way. But yeah, funny live game moment. I make mistakes often. If you couldn't already tell, like and subscribe. But yeah, and I get another cloak for backup, and I want to start chaining cloaks here. But yeah, the cloak gets revealed. I can't be killed though, which is why I picked this spot. Is like, no matter what, the cloak is staying alive, and maybe it can connect on a future turn. And yeah, I'm using these archers, continuing to pressure, doing all sorts of shenanigans. And yeah, so I send the cloak here. No way he can reach it. He just doesn't have the ability to kill either of those and escape in. And I go for strategy and fishing with the... Well, I got strategy earlier, but yeah, I go fishing and ramming so I can start to get some naval presence as well. And you can see he's got the octus here, which seem great, right? Because not only they deal the damage on spawn, which is cool, but also they can kill my cloaks. Problem is, I can kill his jelly. So that's what I do. I just kill it and then send my cloak in. And very important, I actually kill with the archer. I mean, this wasn't something I was thinking about during the game, but like, this is something worth keeping in mind in general. I actually can send my cloak in here. It doesn't die to the octu. You'll see me do that a couple times later in the game. But it's actually better for me to move my archer here and kill, because it gives me a kill on my archer, and I can get a veteran archer later with that sort of decision. It's a very small thing, but every small decision adds up. And yeah, I'm sending in my rammers, getting more of those. I get mathematics to get a nice sawmill here, so I can get a nice border growth, and I get a really good catapult here, because catapults, ranged units in general, honestly, are the way to go against these octus. And a catapult just right here north of my capital can just land perfectly to decimate any octus he tries to make, and just makes him trying to go inland really difficult, as if like the mindbender and giant and everything else here wasn't enough. But yeah, the catapult will get a lot of value. This border growth is really nice just to gain some extra space and some economy. Yeah, he's doing his thing. The spawn damage is pretty good, but these mindbenders can heal the spawn damage, so as nice as it is, it's not a permanent solution. He gets another nice reveal here, taking advantage of my misplaced cloak. I go ahead and kill one of his toads. I kill that again. And yeah, even though he's getting the spawn damage, I'm just healing it right back. So he's spending like 8 stars for not really much, which I think is a pretty significant misplay for Tolby. He kept spending so much on jellies when he probably could have just been making like swords for the same sort of effect. But yeah, like he gets the spawn damage, but I can just heal it. So, because if he just made a sword instead, then if I hit with my giant and kill with the archer, which yeah, I decide not to siege with the giant every time because I'm worried that he's just gonna kill it. The giant won't have a defense bonus anymore. Maybe at some points I could have sieged, but again, it's a live game and I don't have perfect info, so I can't really tell. And I just kind of play it safe because, I mean, I can play it safe. Are they gonna stop me? They make some octus here, which is a little threatening. You see a nice moment with push. I still am pretty sure it's a bug, but when the guy gets pushed, it actually doesn't deal damage. Very funky. Wouldn't have mattered anyway because I had the Mindbender to heal if it did any damage, but yeah. Go ahead and kill that. I know my giant's long gone. And yeah, now you see me actually do that, where I use the cloak to go in. Even though it takes some damage, I can still use it to infiltrate. And then the reason why is because I wanted to flood these. Or not flood, I wanted to drain the tiles, so then he can't go in with like his octus or anything like that. He'd have to flood them again. You'd have to bring a toad in or something. And it's going to allow me to also like push it back a bit, because if he can't really go in, then I can start to go out. So yeah, I start just getting more naval presence. I get another giant here. And yeah, I overspent a little bit. Oh yeah, I actually get a park. Right, I forgot about that. I got a park and then I got a giant, mostly because first, parks for the content. Second, because the eco is actually pretty useful, because this game is pretty grindy. So a park is nice. He's also up in cities. I didn't make note of when he captured it, but yeah, he's actually at 6 cities. So he's up in cities, but eco-wise, he's not doing too well, mostly just the cloak. The cloak spam like kind of carried. Like, again, it's like cloaks weren't the best play. I think Rider Roads, just like doing that would have been better pressure going into nights and markets. But like cloaks worked, and you know what? Sometimes that's all you need to do, is just have something work. But yeah, kind of doing my thing. Still haven't gone riding at all, because who needs riding? I don't. He's just defending things, spawning in another jelly, which again, it's pretty expensive. I move a warrior though, and just have that get killed, which is a little oopsie daisies. Why did I do that? I don't know. I could have like, oh, no, I guess it makes sense. No, I moved the dagger off so then I could get more daggers to spawn. I was thinking maybe I killed a toad here. I could, but then my cloak wouldn't land. So I guess this play makes sense, yeah. Because I want to get a nice juicy cloak. And I make sure it gets lots of places to spawn. You can see this catapult getting a lot of value too. I get sailing so I can move on this deep water, get some juggernauts in, just absolutely ravaging everything. I'm really making sure my units get a really good amount of value. Like my archers are putting in work, making sure their octus die, the catapult plus like rammer combo constantly sieging here. Just rammers in general are giving them a tough time. Like the cloak is sapping his economy and basically turning a city disadvantage into an eco advantage. And these mindbenders are awesome for the heals. This giant is amazing here. This giant's kind of like, it's doing its thing. It's kind of like zone of controlling. This giant I eventually move and then use this giant to zone of control in a wider area. You'll kind of see that later, but I am really trying to like respect all my units. Because, you know, they all want to be involved. So you make them happy. And yeah, there's another jelly, which again, I think is a mistake. I think a sword is better. And yeah, sword is also better there, but it still gets sieged anyway. It is cheaper than the octu. And yeah, once again, I do the same thing. I also veteran this archer because it was at like 4 out of 3 kills. And I drain another tile. to just further limit him. And I'm just kind of slowly but surely, like, pressing forward. Despite, again, being down in cities, I'm the one pressing the long-term advantage, which, even though he's got, like, a lot of jellies here, like, I'm really able to fight back. And I get a quadism here just fine. I'm able to, like, buy techs every turn. I've got a very sustainable plan. Like, all my units are doing a pretty good job. I get another catapult here just to chip at stuff here as well. And it's given him a pretty tough time. And eventually, at some point, he kind of breaks and he makes a really serious misplay. He needs to unsiege. He actually doesn't have enough units in the back because he's been so focused on making these Octus in the front lines, which are really expensive, by the way. Like, I would say Octus are generally overpowered, but, like, this game doesn't really showcase it that well because it's kind of like Octus getting absolutely destroyed by Mindbenders and Catapults. But, like, I swear they're good units. It's just using them, like, as squishy defensive options is not the best because their stiff trait makes them easy targets, and they're pretty expensive. But yeah, he needs to unsiege here. He doesn't. Again, it's a live game. He had a lot of time pressure, which is probably also why he resorted to spamming Octus, is because he doesn't have enough time to think. He probably needed to get, like, tridents at some point, but tridents are difficult to get. He's just under a lot of pressure, but he isn't able to break this siege. And I'm just continuing to ravage, and as soon as I get a city advantage, it's just over. Especially, like, now my naval dominance is really starting to show. Quadism's getting a lot of value. But yeah, so eventually I win here through the power of not getting Rider Roads, because haha funny, but I think it showcased, like, a lot of other stuff that you can do, because a lot of people say, like, oh, Rider Roads is meta, which, I mean, and it depends on the map type, honestly. I'd say, like, on small lakes, like, it's good, but it's not always mandatory. It really depends on the situation, and I definitely think, like, this shows, like, yeah, maybe Rider Roads would have been best, but, like, you don't always need it. And also, like, this was a pretty fun game. Again, shout out to Dolby. It was a good time. Showcasing a lot of units being used to their fullest potential. Some really strong cloak sieges here. Some good catapult use. Some nice mindbender action. Good rammers, quadism. Basically every single tech in my tech tree was used. I didn't actually train any swords, though, despite getting spin 3, but hey, the forges did a lot, right? Yeah, like and subscribe, all that fun stuff. I can't believe we're, like, way over 500 subscribers already. Yeah, have a good one.